Hello everyone! Today we're making pretzels. Not the dry, sad excuses for pretzels, but the big warm ones you used to find at the mall or at the movies. Where'd they all go anyway? Why'd they stop selling warm pretzels? Anywho, real pretzels. And boy are they delicious. Now, let's get into it. We'll be using the following ingredients in our pretzel dough, as well as some other pantry staples during the process. To begin, we'll bloom our yeast. We're using active dry yeast, so we need to activate it with some warm water and a little brown sugar. This gives the yeast a warm environment and something to eat, so they can get to work in our dough. We'll just give this a stir and set it aside for 10 to 15 minutes or so. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes and you can see how the yeast has begun to foam up a bit. That's what we want. That's how we know it's alive and active. In a large bowl, we'll add our flour, our salt, and then our yeast solution. Now, you can totally do this in a mixer. Honestly, I'd recommend it. But I'm stubborn and I want to show how it's possible to make pretzels without one. I'm going to start mixing with a spatula first, just to bring the dough together a bit, before incorporating our melted butter, giving that a really good mix in so it fully incorporates into the dough. And once that comes together a little bit, I'll start working the dough with my hands. It's a pretty tacky dough, so keep some spare flour on the side to help unstick your fingers as needed. We're going to work this dough until it stops sticking so much, a good 5 minutes or so. It's a bit of an effort, but trust the process, it'll get there. Now our dough is ready. I can touch it without it sticking, and it bounces back. We'll now cover our dough and set it aside to proof in a warm location for about an hour. So while we wait, why not come up with a dip for our pretzels? What I like to do is make a dip called Obatzda. It's a mix of butter, cheese, and beer. Pretty much everything we want with a pretzel. This is some Camembert, which I've cut into small pieces. Brie would work fine here too. Some spreadable cheese. My Australian viewers already know what it is, but for everyone else, something like cream cheese or any other neutral spreadable cheese would work just fine. And then we'll add some softened butter. Give this a good mixing. We want to break up most of the chunks. And then we'll add some caraway seeds for their unique flavor, some sweet paprika, some minced onions that I've just soaked in water to rinse off some of their bite. We'll just squeeze these dry and add them in. Some salt and black pepper. And last but not least, some beer. I'm using a standard lager, but really anything will do. Just continue mixing it until it's fully incorporated and nice and runny. This may look a little loose now, but it'll tighten up as it rests. We'll just set this in the fridge for now. Alright, so back to our pretzels. Our dough is expanded quite a bit, and it's going to be sticky again, so make sure we have a little extra flour handy. Did I mention you can do this in a mixer? Anywho, we're going to knead this dough out to build up some gluten strands. That's one of the primary reasons we knead dough in the first place. Flour contains proteins, mostly glutenin and gliadin, which when kneaded realign into an elastic web-like network that traps air bubbles, gives the dough structure, and makes it chewier. In pretzels, we want all of these things. This is looking great, so now we'll form our pretzels. Cut off a small piece of dough and roll it into a long snake. It's going to want to retract a bit, but that's a good sign. The dough should have a bit of elasticity to it. Now, bring the ends together, give them a twist or two, then bring our loop down here up and over. And there's our classic pretzel knot. Okay, so we have our pretzels. But right now they're technically just bread that's shaped like a pretzel. So what makes a pretzel a pretzel? In a wide and deep pot over high heat, add water and then our special ingredient, sodium bicarbonate, or baking soda. Pretzels, much like bagels, get a quick bath in an alkaline solution prior to baking, which gives them their characteristic chewy crust and color. While normally lye is used, a pretty caustic and hard to come by chemical. In a home kitchen, we can best replicate this process using the much safer and much more readily available baking soda. Once this solution comes up to a boil, we'll add our pretzels, without crowding them too much. We'll let them boil on both sides for around a minute total, before placing them on a tray. We'll then sprinkle them with salt. Most salt will do, but coarser salt has a nicer effect. Then we'll let these air dry for about 15 minutes before getting them into a 200 degrees Celsius oven, that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 30 minutes. After 35 minutes, our pretzels look like this. They've developed a beautiful golden brown and slightly chewy crust, and a few of them actually look pretzel-like. Our Obatzda has thickened up a bit, and it's going to be the perfect accompaniment to our warm pretzels. These really did come out amazing. I feel like I'm back at the mall, just without all the screaming children and rampant consumerism. You're going to want to bust out your fanciest mustard for these, although I'm pretty content just with this beer cheese sauce. Alright, so there you have it, pretzels. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did, because now I have a ton of pretzels and I didn't have to go to the mall. They don't sell them there anymore anyway. If you want to help me make more videos like this, you can help me out by liking and subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching.